to some scary movie.
You like scary movies?
Uh-huh.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Look at me, Damien. It's all for you.
Kill her, Mommy. Kill her.
We all go a little mad sometimes.
This is my boomstick. Here's Johnny.
I have to return some videotapes.
We'll tear your soul apart.
Hello and welcome to a drilling episode of All Things Horror. I'm your host Ben and I'm joined here with my co-host Matt. If you're new to the show, each week we choose a movie to break down and review, we give it our honest opinions and rate it from 1 to 10. We have a brief spoiler-free chat about the movie before we head into the plot and discuss our favourite and least favourite parts of the film. And if you stick around till the end, we'll finish off with some interesting trivia and a fun little horror game created by myself. This week we're going to be discussing the Slumber Party Massacre from 1982. And this film is about a high school girl named Trish who decides to throw a slumber party whilst her parents are away. But things go downhill when an escaped killer wielding a power drill is loose in the neighbourhood. Yeah, directed and produced by Amy Jones and written by Rita Mae Brown. Main casts Michelle Michaels Robin Stille and Michael Villella. Hour and 16 minutes, and I watched it for free on Plex.
Oh, okay.
You've recommended this a few times, so
Yeah, the whole series.
Yeah.
I like all three of them, and there's a kind of tenuous fourth as well. But yeah.
Well, I've this is a film that not only have I not seen it before, like I hadn't even heard of it until before we started even doing the podcast. So you recommended it, so it's been on the list for quite some time, and I think you've been quite keen to cover this. It's come up in conversation a few times. So is it quite high up on your cult films? It's a cult film, isn't it?
Yeah. Do you know the weird thing is I found out something new about it with this watch, which is that it's part of an interconnected series of films with massacre in them. So you've got the Slumber Party Massacre series, which go from 82 to 90. You've got the Sorority House Massacre series, which go from 86 to 90.
Right.
And then the Cheerleader Massacre series, which go from 2003 to 2011. Now, I think I may have seen some of those, but I didn't realise there's also one, Arkansas Women's Prison Massacre and the reboot. I didn't realise this. I've only ever really thought of these as a trilogy, which started in 1982. I like possibly the second one even more than the first one. They are such an anomaly. You could really do a lot of study into these films. I love them. I think they're great. In the UK, this was called the Slumber Party Murders.
Oh, right. Okay.
But Amy Jones, who directed it, and Rita Mae Brown, both feminist writer and sort of very sort of pro-feminism director. But the weird thing about this whole series is it's all executive produced and the money's put in by Roger Corman. So you've got a lot of feminist and sort of humor at the expense of the male characters, but then you've also got quite a lot of male gaze and sort of boobs as well.
Yeah.
Because it's Roger Corman, and you can imagine him just going, needs 25% more boobs. So it's like a mixture of so many different things that makes it quite unusual.
Yeah.
She edited, she's so talented. She edited Taxi Driver, Amy Jones.
Oh, wow. Oh, okay.
So when she was 22, alongside Scorsese, obviously, and she wrote Mystic Pizza, the Julia Roberts film that was quite popular. So she's Yeah, she's editing assistant anyway on a lot of those things, and like Rita Mae Brown has done so much in terms of her work. So it's such a weird mix of people, but I think it's very well done. I'll go into that in more detail. But yeah, to answer your question, it is something I'm really glad we've got around to watching, and I would say, yeah, it's cult film, quite campy. There are a lot worse versions of this kind of film out there. There's one that I think is sort of laughably bad, but I actually like it because it's so bad. Called The Sorority House Massacre.
I think I almost watched that by accident. I had to double check myself.
Yeah, you would have. I mean, depending on what you think about. Sorry, not Sorority House. No, that one's not too bad.
Right.
I'm thinking The Last Slumber Party.
Oh, okay.
No, that is terrible, but very funny because there's one character in it who just swears and calls everybody names all the way through the film. She's a horrible, horrible person.
Is there a remake of this one as well? Like
yes,
this exact one?
Yeah. I have seen it, but I didn't. I don't think I thought much of it because it's not stayed with me.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So the second one is like, you know how he has a drill in this one? He's like has a drill attached to a guitar in the second one.
I've seen the poster, and I had to zoom in to say, oh, and I was thinking, is that a guitar with a drill on the end?
Yeah, so it's like a rockabilly killer in the second one.
Wow, okay.
But you do have some characters who continue on over the first and second film. I can't remember if into the third one. There is a lot of like sort of gay coding in this film as well with the male characters. I think Amy Jones and Rita Brown are both kind of like to play with a lot of things in this. It's not you could just take it as a surface level sort of trash Roger Corman produced film, but also there's loads there under the surface that you can analyze because these ladies have put a lot of thought into what they were doing. So it's quite an interesting soup of weird things.
Yeah. Well, when I was gathering all my like notes and research and stuff, like I hadn't heard of Amy Jones or Rita Mae Brown, so I think I watched the film first and then I started doing my notes, and I was really surprised to find out that this film was done, written and directed by women. Not that that's a bad thing. I'm just saying, like, it's very unusual for a typical 80s slasher, which has all the aspects like of a typical 80s slasher to be done by women. Like you say, it's lots of blood and boobs.
There really is. It's like very like say it's got the once you realise Roger Corman's involved, it's got that. It's almost 50-50 what you're getting in terms of his. And I like Roger Corman films. Don't get me wrong. So I mean, the initial idea was let's make a Halloween cash-in.
Yeah,
and it's not a million miles away from that in a lot of ways.
Yeah, not really.
I mean, there's the weird, creepy neighbor stuff as well, which makes it quite interesting. Some of the stuff that he says, how he's always so close to them. There's real tropes from things. So obviously there's like a dangerous, but I think they do this in Halloween a lot, where they're listening to the radio, dangerous person in the area, switch off the radio.
Yeah.
So there's loads of stuff that I mean, like, and like how you've got a bit different levels, but Jamie Lee Curtis became like a big scream queen, and Brinky Stevens became I never know how to say her name, and I've heard it so many things, but I think it's Brink. She's like a scream queen in her own right. She was kind of alongside like Barbara Crampton and Kelly Maroney and all those people around that time. So yeah, it is weird that to look at the people involved in making it. They're a strange combination, and like Rita Mae Brown's like one. She does civil rights, feminist groups, and like works for like pro-lesbian groups, and she got a Lifetime Achievement Award for from a literary perspective, from writing. And so like, and then you put that with Roger Corman, and then you put it with the sort of the technical ability of Amy Jones, and you've got a really interesting film. The other thing as well, like Roger Corman, every time he comes away, he says, if you do a good job for me, you'll never have to work for me again. So he's basically like a one-man film school.
Yeah.
And like Joe Dante and all the people, Jack Nicholson, all the people who have worked for Roger Corman, if they're brilliant, they tend to only work for him once and then go off and become superstars. Like even James Cameron and people like that, you know, they're all made a start with him. So it makes sense that these two talented people have worked with him, because he gets them young and gets them cheap, and yeah.
That's really interesting. I
find it fascinating. I think there's books about it that probably explain it better than I can, but there's books about Slumber Party Massacre.
Yeah, no, that's really interesting. I've been really slacking on my research for this one, so I think I'm leaning a lot onto you, because you'll probably teach me quite a bit.
Well, I'm the same when it comes to pretty much any film from 2000 to 2010 or 2015.
You can walk me through these like low budget 80s cult movies, and I can walk you through like the Conjuring universe.
Well, that's it. I've literally forgotten all the order of those films and who the characters are and what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, well, since we've been doing this podcast, I've been like picking up on your taste of horror, and it's quite interesting because we're both different, but we respect each other's styles. And obviously, like I've had you watch films you've not seen, and you've had watch me watch films that I haven't seen, you know, like this. And even if we're not a fan of it, I think we both like hearing and understanding why the other person likes it, and for them to put their views across. And
for sure, I need that. I need someone to say, watch this film, otherwise I'll never watch it. Like, it makes a big difference. And then to hear like, to sort of remember, often it's the place in life where you are when you first watched it as well.
Exactly.
So some of that's like, you'll say, oh well, I know it's not amazing or whatever, but it's like nostalgia for me. I love it. And I will say the same thing. So it's like neither of us get hurt feelings when the other one doesn't like it.
Yeah.
But to be fair, a lot of the times when they're really, really good, they transcend everything. And we both tend to give them 9 out of 10.
It was like you had me watch Chopping Mall and Sleepaway Camp, and I quite enjoyed those two. I had quite fun with those ones. Yeah. But then on the other side, you had me watch Halloween 3.
Halloween 3, I knew that was coming.
and I weren't such a fan of that one. However, like, I liked hearing why you liked it. You know, when you were talking through, you know, why you liked it so much, I understood it, and it made me, it made more sense to me why you would like it. Like, if I'd have just watched it on my own with no one telling me, I was like, it's a pile of shit. But the fact that you watched it and you put your points across, I was like, actually, yeah, you got some good points in there. Yeah, I guess that was pretty good there. Yeah. So yeah, it's good. That's why I like doing this. It's fun.
Yeah, me too.
Have you got this on DVD?
I have only recently. I think I had it once on it's really hard to get a hold of. Right. And I did have like a box set of all of them, and then when I had my big cull, I got rid of them all, and then I rebought it on DVD recently, but a very old original, like, first DVD. You know, when you used to get an inlay card in your DVD.
Yeah. I was
one of those.
I was just wondering, because I was looking through the taglines for this, and like some of them are just great. It's like, I'm not sure which one was on the front box of your one, but there's two that I really liked. It was like, you bring the pizza, I'll bring the drill.
Yeah. and the poster, the original poster for it with the leg through the legs, is really iconic as well. You see that replicated in so many films now, in so many similar films. It's quite influential. But I know the taglines are great.
And the other one was the ultimate driller killer thriller.
Nice.
Yeah,
because obviously I think this was probably after, maybe it was this after Driller Killer, Abel Ferrara's. I'm not sure what year that came out, Driller Killer, but that was a big 1979. Okay, so it came out after.
Right.
So they weren't the first people to do drills, but like to make it, it's a driller slasher, really, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. I guess there is driller. I haven't seen that, and this was probably I don't know actually. Friday the 13th is quite creative. I'm trying to think of a kill in a horror movie that's involved in a drill.
Yeah, there's a few, but they don't spring to mind. Obviously, that one does, drill a killer.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of ones where people go through walls and stuff like that, and drill somebody's head. I'm sure there's plenty of ones like that. I'm sure he's done it in Terrifier at some point as well.
Probably, yeah.
Done everything in Terrifier.
All right.
Everybody inside out.
Shall we jump into this plot?
Yeah, let's go.
I'll hit the spoiler warning now.
Spoiler warning.
Okay, so the film starts off with the main character Trish. She decides to throw a slumber party.
A slumber party. That sounds cuter.
Slumby party, whilst her parents are away, with her neighbour Mr. Contant. He's a funny man.
He's a funny man.
He checks in regularly on him. We then
I think they're safe from him, but you know.
Yeah, but
he's just a bit odd, isn't he?
Bit weird. We then learn that there's a mass murderer called Russ Thorne, and he's escaped and he's on the loose. But it's not long until we see him killing a repair woman and then stealing her van.
Oh yeah.
At school, we see Trish's friends, Kim, Jackie, Linda, and Diane. Trish invites the new girl, Valerie, to the party, but she declines after hearing them bitch about her in the locker room.
Yeah.
So
a very long locker room scene.
Yeah. And then Linda forgets a book, so she goes back to school after everything's kind of like closed down, and then she ends up getting locked inside. And then she then gets attacked and killed by Russ Thorne with a power drill.
Yeah.
Ah.
I mean, I think the repair woman kill is really effective.
Yeah.
Like dragging her into the van after she's had that little flirtatious conversation with those boys.
Yeah, yeah. I weren't expecting that, to be fair.
No, it was a bit of a shock. I'd forgotten that bit. I felt like, hang on, have I always been watching? I feel like the film starts in the bedroom with the girl.
Yeah.
Which it does. But then for some reason, I hadn't remembered that. And I was like, wow, that's really well done. That's like, could have been in Halloween.
Yeah. It did remind me of, I guess it don't remind me of Halloween, but it also reminded me, I think it's Scream 2.
Oh, Scream 2, yeah,
Scream
Randy.
2. Right in the middle, like it's daylight, right in the middle of the day, loads of people around.
Yeah.
I mean, they're in a school, and yeah, it just drags them into the van.
Yeah, being dragged into a van in broad daylight, like the Black Phone. It's that kind of horrible, like, that's why it's so scary, because it's in broad daylight.
Yeah, and this is very early on as well. What's this, like 5-10 minutes into the film? And
we've already met a few people, seen a lot of stuff. It rattles along at a good pace. It's only 76 minutes long, so it goes for it.
Yeah, and with Linda as well. I mean, it's quite early on. We get those 2 kills. Yeah, and I was also quite surprised that you see, what's his name, Russ Thorne. You see his face like very early on. That's quite different as well. Like I don't know if I like that. I maybe would have preferred not knowing until the end. Kind of keep the mystery up, like Mrs. Voorhees or like in My Bloody Valentine.
Yeah, that's a good point, because I was thinking, I don't know if you've ever seen the Wrong Turn. Not Wrong Turn. What's the one with Paul Walker and Steve Zahn in it? Roadkill, or no? Is it called Roadkill? No, I keep saying Wrong Turn. The guy's called Rusty Nail, and he's like, they're basically they're in a car. And they say the wrong thing to somebody over a CB radio. They like play a trick on him, and then he chases them down.
Oh.
For ages and ages. There's like 3 of these films, but they're all shocking. Like, they're not all shocking. Like, the sequels are shocking. The first one's okay. It's Paul Walker, Steve Zahn, geez, what's it called? Joyride.
Joyride. Okay, no, I've not seen that one.
Roadkill in the UK. So it was called Roadkill in the
Oh,
UK.
right. Oh, okay.
And those ones, the guy's called Rusty Nail. And in the first one, you don't see his face very much, the truck driver. But when you do, it's quite a striking one. But in the second one and the third one, you see him loads. And it doesn't have the same effect. And the same with, like, he talks a lot more as well. In this one, I think he's scary because his face is a bit like, shows that he's a bit loopy. Like he's got the eyes and mouth and everything's moving, you know. So it works for me from that point of view. But I get what you mean.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's good to have a bit of mystery, and it's more scary because you don't know who it is.
Well, there's another bit that I thought that kind of took me off guard as well. Like where the scene with Linda, when Russ was chasing her around, it was like a proper like cat and mouse chase scene. And for a moment, I actually thought she was going to get away because she hid quite well. You know, she was keeping quiet, and he was like stumbling around trying to find her, and he just couldn't find her. And then all of a sudden, her blood like runs underneath the door, and like he's standing on the other side, and it like goes like puddles through his legs, and then that's how she gets caught.
Why do you think it stands out? Do you think it? I think it's my reason is I think it's because the characters aren't stupid, or there's certainly the core group of girls in it are not stupid.
Yeah,
so their choices aren't as like ridiculous. Where you're going like, "What are you doing, you fool?" Like, there's not as much of that in this.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, I didn't think about that. Yeah,
and that's because they're written by women, and the way they talk is actually genuine, like real to young women, and the things that they do.
Yeah,
feel more real. We said this about John Carpenter and Deborah Hill,
right.
How important she was, haven't we? When we've talked about the writing.
Yeah, it definitely didn't feel like how the girls would be in Friday the 13th or Sleepaway Camp or anything like that, where they're just screaming, tripping over stuff, and that's the end. But they seem to have a bit more sense about them in this one.
Yeah, actual characters.
Yeah.
There's only really Ginny, I think, who stands out for me, and in Friday the 13th as like an interesting character with something. There's a few. Maybe I'm being a bit harsh, but she stands out as actually having like a story and something about her, and logic and reason, and like a brain in her head.
So the girls then arrive and the party begins. Valerie lives across the street and she's babysitting her sister. Two boys from school, Jeff and Neil, they spy on the girls whilst they're getting changed out of their clothes.
Superb.
Yeah, boy.
Russ Thorne, he has quite a killing spree now. So he first kills the neighbour, Mr. Contant, with his power drill. Diane, who goes out to her boyfriend's car, and then she finds her boyfriend decapitated, and then she gets murdered as well.
Oh dear.
A pizza guy arrives, and when the girls answer the door, they see that he has no eyes, because they've just been drilled out. Jeff and Neil, they try and run for help, and they're both killed. And then Russ gets in the house and murders Jackie. And then Trish and Kim barricade themselves in Trish's bedroom, but Russ enters through the window and kills Kim, and then Trish kind of like flees out of the way. So there's a lot. That's a lot of death in a short amount of time.
Yeah, and like men are useless as well in this.
Yeah.
The next door neighbour, like you think, at least he's going to maybe he's useless too.
Yeah.
But and the boys, the two pervy boys, are definitely useless.
Yeah, the two boys, it was like, we'll just split up. He can't get both of us. One of us are bound to make it. No, they both end up dying.
Yeah, it's nice to think that these other characters, like the female characters, don't need these guys to save them.
Yeah.
In fact, they probably make it worse.
Yeah. The pizza guy stands out to me the most. I'm not quite sure how he was able to talk at the door, because he knocks on the door and they ask who it is, and it's the pizza guy, and they open and he's just got no eyes, 0 eyes.
Yeah, it's like it maybe just drilled in a little bit, not a full way into his brain.
Yeah.
It's like he just used a different size drill bit. And then he swapped it out for a bigger one for the other guys.
Yeah.
He's got like a little tool belt with him with all different size drill bits.
That is a big drill he's got as well. Like the massive drill on the end. I mean, they're not light.
No. Rusty's must be quite strong to carry it.
Yeah.
To be fair though, he's not like massively physically imposing. He's just he's just insane. Like that's what's scary about him is that he's insane, and you get that from his face, but you get that from the fact he's drilling people in the head.
And there's no reason why he's doing it, is he? He's just a psycho.
No, he just got. Did he? He didn't get released. He escaped, didn't he?
He escaped. Yeah.
Yeah, and that was it. He's just like, woohoo! Let's go.
Yeah, I don't. I'm not sure if any of the other ones have, but I don't think there was any kind of backstory on this guy.
No, and you ever think about that as well? How like in films they have to be like, it was their cousin or it was the person who put them away. Like actually, we don't really need that. Like
yeah.
People just do crazy stuff because they want to do crazy stuff. Like there's sometimes, as we know recently, filming this 7th of August 2024, people do crazy stuff, and in seemingly lots of people do crazy stuff. And if you ask them why, they wouldn't be able to explain it.
No.
You know, like, or if they did, it wouldn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So this is that. I think that's what he is. I think this guy is like. You asked him why he was doing it or what he was doing, he'd just be like, blah, 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 blah. That'd be his answer.
Right, and now we're at the end. I mean, this was quite a short film, but like Valerie and Courtney, they enter the house and find Kim dead, and they hide from Russ. Coach Jaina, having grown concerned over a phone call from earlier on, she arrives and is confronted by Russ, and he disembowels her with a drill. Valerie chases Russ with a machete, eventually severing his hand before slicing his stomach open. He falls into a swimming pool and sinks beneath the water, or kind of bobs on the water, face down, only to emerge moments later and attack him once more, but Valerie finally kills him with a machete.
Nice.
End scene.
I think it was a good. I mean, I don't know what you think. I like the use of the swimming pool, and I like the use of editing so that everything felt really close up when they were doing that fight. So it's not your usual like, oh no, he's right behind you, and it's like a big shot of the. It felt like they were having like a real fight to the death, very very close up.
Yeah.
So that worked for me. I like that use of the editing, and I like the use of the cinematography there to kind of have it. It's slightly different and a little bit more hectic than what I'm used to.
Yeah,
so,
it was good.
I like that.
Okay, ratings. What are we going to rate this? 1 to 10. Eyeless pizza guys with
Okay.
no eye holes. What did you say? What was you going to do?
No, I'm boring. I was just going to say drills. I didn't even think of the
Drills.
pizza guy. So,
oh, okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right. How many drilled out eye holes are you going to do?
Okay, so I love the pace and the humour. You can see that this came out of a parody, but it kind of doesn't take itself too seriously, but it also is, I think, personally very well made. I think when you've got somebody who is such a great editor, it's made so well. There's a genuine, like, some of the stuff is quite, like, scary, like actually scary. Some of the bits, certainly, I think the fight at the end's quite stressful. The grabbing the woman into the van, the pizza guy, the chopping the arm, like the final battle, so to speak. I like the idea that the final girl actually kicks ass, like actually fights well. She's not dead like floppy and useless. So it's just 80s awesomeness for me. So I'm giving it 8 pizza boys out of 10.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, this was a nice, easy going, straight up 80s slasher. It doesn't involve too much thinking. It is what it is. Like, if I were to change anything about this, I would make the killer more like unknown. Introduce a little bit of mystery about him. Instead of seeing him quite very early on, I think it's literally like 10 minutes into the film you see him, you see his face, and then throughout the whole film you see him. Seeing his face all the way through, I think lowered the tension a little bit for me. It took the thrill away from it, but I mean, this was recommended by you, and it wasn't the worst movie you've suggested.
We go back to Halloween 3.
I really didn't know what to score this, so I was going back through what I've scored other films, and I've kind of put this roughly on the same as Sleepaway Camp, and I gave Sleepaway Camp a 7.75, and I think Sleepaway is like slightly better, so I'm going to give this a 7.5.
I'll say that as a result. I think that's a good result.
7 for the movie and an extra half point for boobs.
Well, that was what Roger Corman would have wanted. So.
Yeah. What did you score it?
8.
8. Okay. Oh, I went far off then.
8 for 80s.
Cool.
And to think she turned down editing E.T. to make this film.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Oh jeez. Right. Okay. Yeah. Let's go into our trivia.
Trivia. Oh, yeah.
Right. So I don't really have much trivia for this. Just 3 that I thought were pretty cool, pretty interesting. The blood that was used in this film was a mixture of corn syrup and red food colouring. After filming Brinky, is it Brinky or Brink Stevens?
I don't know. I always forget. Maybe Brinky. I don't know.
After filming her character getting drilled in the arm, the crew took a break for lunch, and Brink recalled it like a very unpleasant lunch because every fly in the area was attracted to the smell, and it would just stick to her. Yeah.
Well, I didn't put her off because, I mean, she's still making movies now. She's probably the most successful out of everybody in the cast. She's in Sorority Babes and the Slime Bowl Slimerama, Bowlerama, should I say, Grandmother's House, co-written films. So she's gone on and had a really good career. She is nearly 70 years old now as well, which is mad.
Wow. The score for this movie, it was entirely done on a very small Casio synthesizer, and the composer for this was the director's brother, Ralph Jones.
It's cool. I like synthesizer stuff. I thought it was good, actually. I thought the music was good.
Yeah.
Well, then it's very John Carpenter as well. So, another thing about Brink Stevens is her husband created the Rocketeer.
The Rocketeer.
Yeah, that they made into a film with Timothy Dalton. I don't know if you remember. No, I'm old, but yeah, it was. One person might be listening and go, "Oh, the Rocketeer," but yeah, it's like an old-fashioned kind of play on superheroes, like essentially like an older Iron Man.
Okay.
So that's pretty cool.
I don't know if you might know this, but Michael Villella, the guy who plays Russ Thorne, he said that the most difficult scene for him was when his character fell into the pool, because he can't swim and he hates the water. So the pool water was freezing cold, and he had to float in it for quite a while during and in between takes. And that was quite difficult for him, apparently, because he can't swim.
Yeah, no wonder it looks so sort of desperate. He was probably scared to death for his life in the film and in real life.
Right, are you ready for this week's game?
Yeah, let's go. Oh, yeah.
I want to play a game.
Right, so the game I've made this week, I've called What Weapon Killed Who? The weapon of choice for the killer in this movie was a drill, which I thought was quite cool. It was unique, it was different. So I'm going to name some films and you got to try and tell me what weapon or situation a specific character was killed.
Oh, jeez. I can never remember names of characters, so yeah, let's go.
First up, Crazy Ralph from Friday the 13th Part 2. How did he die?
Machete?
No. Jason strangled him with a wire from behind a tree.
Oh, yeah, I remember that now.
Got him round a tree, yeah.
Yeah. I've just been watching In a Violent Nature, and so it makes me want to go back and watch all the Friday the 13th films now.
Okay. This one, I went back and I rewatched My Bloody Valentine and then the remake of My Bloody Valentine together.
Okay.
So Mabel Osborne, she was the old lady.
Well, they take the hearts out, don't they? But I don't know how.
But specifically how... Well, I guess, yeah.
I don't know.
Not the heart. It was like how she was found, like where she was.
They put her in food? She's in food?
No. She was stuffed and burned in the drying machine.
Okay, yeah. I've watched them. I'm not making excuses, but I watched the recent one, like the modern one. But I hadn't seen the other one for it since I think we did it. Did we do that one?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did
since
that one.
So I've not watched this. But when I watched the new one, I was like, there's one moment in it, and you'll probably know which bit it is, near the hotel, and the big truck with the naked woman.
Yeah.
That is insane. That like it's 5 minutes of insanity, and then the rest of it might as well be like, I don't know, like I Know What You Did Last Summer or something. Yeah, like it's not anything out of the ordinary. And then there's just this moment with like a short person. I don't know what the politically correct is. Naked woman and lots of crazy stuff going on. So yeah. Anyway, just thought I'd mention
that. Richard Vickers from Creepshow. That was Leslie Nielsen's character.
Oh, he got buried in sand.
Yeah. Yeah. Buried in sand up to his head in the beach, and then the tide came in and drowned him.
Nice.
Jennifer from A Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors.
Oh man, I love this film. Well, she's asleep when it happens. This isn't Welcome to Prime Time, bitch, is it? Where you go into the TV?
Oh, well, I don't know.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah. Freddie smashes her head into the TV.
Nice. Welcome to Prime Time, bitch.
It's
my audition.
Nurse Karen from Halloween 2.
Oh, there's something ridiculous in a hospital that you don't have in hospitals, like a sauna or something. It might be a sauna. Is it a sauna?
I'll give you that one, yeah. So Michael turns up the heat in a hot tub.
Oh, that's
and
in
he
a hot tub.
boils her alive.
Something you don't have in a hospital. So weird.
Will Darnell from Christine. He owns the garage.
The car falls on him.
No.
I don't know. I can't remember. He gets run over. I don't know.
No.
I've not seen Christine for like 20 years. I read it as well.
So he gets in the car and Christine moves the seat forward and eventually like crushes him to death against the steering wheel.
Oh, right. Oh, blimey.
Yeah, it's a good one. Jenna from Hatchet.
Jenna from Hatchet. Couldn't tell you one character name from Hatchet. So I get the feeling that she'll have been decapitated by an axe or a hatchet.
No, she got her jaw mutilated with a belt sander and then impaled through the back with a shovel.
Oh, yeah, the belt sander. Okay.
Yeah.
I watched all of those in one go, and it's all kind of melted into one.
Last up, Officer Curtis Mooney from Killer Clowns from Outer Space. So he's like the sheriff guy, isn't he?
Did they put helium in him and blow him up like a balloon, or am I making... I can't remember. If they didn't, they should have done.
No, but that is a good way to go.
Especially if it's clown doing it.
That would be good. No, he was turned into a human ventriloquist doll.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I tuned out. I don't think I got into that film as much as I should have done.
Oh, that was good. I really like that film. Right, let's wrap up. So next episode, that's our 50th episode.
Hang on a minute. Did I win?
No.
Worth a try.
I think you got half.
Oh, I'll do.
Yeah. So next episode's our 50th episode.
Ooh.
So it's quite special. So
Before I'm 50 years old. No.
So without a doubt, one of the most iconic horror movies ever made. I thought we should do Psycho.
Oh wow! I just watched that recently.
Yeah. All right. Sweet.
I just got a box set, and I'm up to number 4. I've just watched 1, 2, and 3.
Oh, I have seen 1.
Well, a lot of people will say that's all you need to see, but I think that would be untrue.
I do really want to see the
good.
second one. Yeah.
Second one's good. Third one, actually, the more I think about it, I like it more than the rating I gave it on Letterboxd. And the fourth one with the kid, I seem to remember liking it when I watched it when I got it from the video shop, so it's a while ago. But yeah, I'm just trying to think what I gave. So yeah, Psycho 3 I gave it 2 stars out of 5, but actually Psycho 2 I gave 3.5.
Ooh.
I'm not going to tell you what I gave Psycho.
Ooh.
We'll leave that in your as a teaser for next time.
You could say it's the mother of all horrors.
Could do. Could say he's a bit of a mother. No, he's not. He's not a mother. No, that's the one thing he didn't do.
Not her.
I'm gonna dress up in the dress and the grey hair. It's a shame it's an audio podcast and you'll all just have to take my word for it.
Yeah, and then I'll put it up next week. But next week I'm gonna do this month's poll pick. And I was thinking for that one because I don't think we've done any yet. So I was gonna do it for zombies.
Ooh.
Choices between Resident Evil, Dawn of the Dead, and 28 Days Later.
Okay, I know what I'm going to choose, but
I know what you're going to choose.
I'm not going to say anything. I'll let people make up their own mind.
Yeah.
Don't want to influence them.
Yeah, man. That's all. So unless you got anything else to add, I will see us out.
No. I'm looking forward to talking about Psycho, and I'm really glad that you liked Slumber Party Massacre. So yeah, I'm a happy bunny.
Sweet. Cool. So if you've liked today's episode and want to hear more, then go ahead and give us a follow on wherever you're listening from. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram and YouTube, and you can vote for the monthly poll picks. That's all for today, so thanks a lot for listening, and we'll see you in Psycho. Bye.
We all go a little mad sometimes.
This